Hey, lovely humans, and welcome back to another episode on Rising Coaches with Sophia Bernardi. Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be pulling back the curtain and giving you a real-time breakdown of how I've created over $60,000 in cash for March 2025 in my coaching business. I'm going to walk you through the numbers, the strategies, the mindset, and the lessons that help me to make this my biggest month in a long time. So I'm super happy about this. Now, I am just going to be straight up transparent. I'm talking about cash collected, not sales. So sales is money that has come from the total amount I'm going to receive from a new client, but that comes on a payment plan over, 12 months, let's just say. But I'm actually talking about the money that I've actually received in my bank account within the business, and that is over $60,000, which is really cool. And I'm excited to share all of it with you. And another little disclaimer I want to share is that it's actually the 31st of March. So we're still probably going to bring in some more money before the end of today because we're only midway through the day. But this is just what we're at right now. And yeah, I'm super proud of myself and I'm proud of my team and the business. Because the truth is that this didn't happen by accident, and it definitely didn't happen through hustle and burnout or luck, right? It happened from intention and refinement and support and a system that's now working with me instead of against me. So I'm super excited to dive into these juicy details for you today so that you can get really fresh lessons and learnings and numbers based on, what I have in front of me, knowing that, we're literally in the last day of the month. But before I get into it, I want to share a personal update. So I just went to Japan for 10 days in March with two of my best friends, and we had so much fun. We went skiing for several days, which was a blast. I even went on a black slope, and I'm so proud of myself because if anyone knows anything about skiing, you'll know that black slope is one of the hardest slopes you can do. Yes, I fell over a lot of times, but it was so much fun and I'm really glad I got to do it with one of my best friends. I went to Disneyland in Japan. We traveled through Tokyo. We went to beautiful museums and really cool experiences and learned how to make matcha and all of these things. So had so much fun. My cup is feeling very full and I'm very grateful. I also went to Adelaide in the month of March. I hung out with a lot of friends. I'm feeling really good in my body and my mind. I'm definitely in my Pilates era right now, doing so many Pilates classes. Sometimes I do 2 a day because they're just so much fun. And I'm really proud of myself because when I just went to Adelaide, I actually just paid for a year membership to do Pilates when I'm there as well, because I do travel to I travel to Adelaide a lot, and so I want to be able to work out while I'm there instead of that just being a period where I just don't work out as much, and I kind of got sick of that being my reality. So I'm like, that's it, I'm paying for a membership, and that means, I can go to Pilates classes whenever I want when I'm there. So I'm really happy about that. Feeling more loved up than ever before with my man, feeling really grateful about my relationship with Geordie. I feel like I tell him that every single day because I just hand on heart mean it. I just feel like we have the strongest friendship and bond and we laugh so much and there's a lot of playfulness in our relationship, and I'm just really grateful for how far we've come and where we're at right now in our relationship. And yeah, feeling really good there. Feeling really solid with all my friendships. I'm actually about to go to the Gold Coast for a week with all of my friends right after I record this podcast episode. And yeah, that's about everything from a personal update from me. I'm feeling really good. My clients are getting fantastic results. We're making lots of little changes in the business right now. And yeah, I'm really loving it. But let's get into this week's episode where I break down how I've generated over $60,000 in cash. So super excited, and I always want to be super transparent with the numbers, so I'm going to share as many of the data points and the numbers that I possibly can for you so that you get a real picture of what this actually looks like when it's broken down, because I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily transparent with this sort of stuff. They don't share which currency or whether it's sales or actual cash collected, and they don't, they're sharing things that are once-off things rather than, reoccurring experiences they have, and just not being really clear about that. And I don't want to be that person. So in new sales, so the total amount that we have locked in this month that is now going to come over the next 12-month period was $138,189.52. And that was through selling 37 tickets to my intensive, 2 members into my course, and 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 members into Scale School. And that's a combination of both tier 1 and tier 2, which is really, really awesome. So basically what that number means is over the next 12 months, that's how much money like we brought in this month that's going to come over the next 12 months. So that's going to come in the reoccurring revenue, which is a really solid amount of money. And we do new sales around that amount like most months, which is really, really cool. So it just keeps stacking that monthly reoccurring revenue. Recurring revenue that came in before any new sales of the month came in that we had locked in already to come in, and that did come in, was $35,785.53. The new cash that came in was $31,722.66. And then the cash collected for all of that is, we're sitting at $67,500 for the month, right? So yeah, brought in 14 new amazing clients and 37 intensive tickets that were sold. And yeah, like I said, we still have half a day left of March, and usually a lot of big things can happen in a short period of time in our world, which is really exciting. So that's all the numbers that I wanted to share right off the back. And so really we have this like beautiful balance between new signups and solid reoccurring revenue. And I love talking about building a sustainable business because that's what gives me that security every month. Is like, I know that I have between like $30,000 and $40,000 of reoccurring revenue that continues to get more and more every single month coming into the business. And that's how like my business doesn't feel like it's starting from scratch every month. So if you kind of feel like that, you don't have consistent clients coming in or a reoccurring revenue, it can really easily feel like, you're just starting at zero all of the time, even though like you're not, but that's what it can feel like. And that can really mess with your mindset, which then really messes with you actually showing up for strategy. So just wanted to share that. So, like this is why it's so important to have reoccurring revenue, because you can see that I had locked in like over $35,000 before the month even started, which means like I'm already having a great month, and everything on top of that is like this beautiful bonus. And like I said, it just continues to grow. So let me start by sharing with you the 5 lessons that really made the difference with this month, that gave us like this good cash injection. And then I'm going to share with you 3 strategies that really helped us to bring this in as well. But the lessons are super, super important. So let me dive in. So lesson number 1 is to track the data that you actually use. So one of the biggest game changers for us was actually tracking data in a way that actually makes sense to me and my team so that we can use it. So I'm going to be really transparent. Like all this year, we've been like really drilling down on what numbers we track, and we've made little tweaks and iterations every single month for that. But I had this realization through speaking to a coach and a dear friend of mine when she was asking me a whole bunch of questions. I realized that yeah, we were tracking all of these numbers, but was I actually using these numbers to the best of my ability? And were there numbers missing? Like, yeah, no, I wasn't. And also, like, were there numbers missing that would actually make some of the other numbers that we were tracking more useful? Like, yes, we were missing some things. And she helped me to see that. And it was such an eye-opener for me. So I basically redid how we do our entire tracking. And then Geordie, my beautiful man, he like formatted the whole spreadsheet so that like it automates things and tells us if we're in the red, the yellow, or the green zone for it. And it's just amazing. And I'm so excited to use it as of tomorrow onwards, now that the whole thing is set up. And so I've tested it and played around with it, and now it's so easy to see what the actual bottlenecks are in our business. So like that's lesson number 1, is like track the data you actually use and make sure you can understand it, because even though like I had this realization later on in the month, we were still like having these little learnings about the importance of data and being able to leverage that. And, whilst there were still a few gaps missing, it doesn't mean none of the data we were tracking like wasn't helpful. It totally was. It's just, it could be way more helpful. And so we were still using all of that data, which was getting us, great results throughout the month based on like adjusting and making little tweaks from that. So like every Monday, like we look at our leads, our conversions, our retention, our revenue, our traffic, and from that we can just literally pinpoint the bottleneck. And that might be the messaging or the follow-up process or how many people are booking calls and all of that sort of stuff. And it's just been so helpful. So it really took the guesswork out of everything, and I could see exactly what needed attention. Lesson number 2 is having weekly money meetings with myself. So this is a new thing that I've been doing. as of March, and that is to have like a money date with myself every single Monday. And this has honestly changed so much for me from an energetic standpoint, not just like looking at the numbers, but also just like how I felt about them and making sure I understood what they meant and everything being in a really healthy range. And like, you know, there was like resistance, but there was also expansion. And from one of these money meetings I had, I was actually able to uncover a gap that was really leaking income from an energetic perspective. So I made that shift, and like there was almost immediate like ripple effect results in the business because of it. And I really believe that's what's contributed to such a high cash month for us in the business. Interrupting this podcast episode quickly, because if you love this episode, then it would mean the world to me if you took a moment to screenshot this episode, sharing what you think on your Instagram stories, tagging me at Sophia Rose Bernardi so that I can reshare it. And if you do, I'll send you a special resource exclusive for my podcast listeners to help you grow and scale your business. Thank you so much. And now let's get back to the episode. The truth is that money loves clarity and intention, and these money meetings have given me both, and I love doing them every single month. So I created a Google form for me to fill out every single Monday, plus I've created another more in-depth overview form to do on the 1st of every single month, which I will be doing for the first time as of tomorrow on the 1st of April. So that's been really, really cool. Lesson number 3, what is to lean on your support system. So this month in particular, I spoke to my coach and my inner circle almost every single day. Not because I needed saving or something was wrong, but just because I wanted to stay clear, in alignment, and in momentum. You also just don't know what you don't know, and the right mentor can reflect your blind spots and help you collapse time by having a process that already works, that you maybe haven't implemented before. And because I was doing that so consistently, I had all of these like breakthroughs all of the time, which allowed us to, you know, really make the most of everything that we were doing within the business. So definitely having support, and it's really cool that I've actually had a coach every single day I've been in business to date. And I think like practicing what you preach at that level is why I've made over $2 million in my business in the last 5 years. And it's why I've created a life I love so much. It's because I work smarter, not harder. Lesson 4 is small 1% tweaks equal big compounding results. So this month, when I look at like how we've increased our monthly revenue so much, like it wasn't through burning everything to the ground and rebuilding. We just made tiny, consistent refinements to our emails, to our automations, to our landing pages, to our offers. We didn't make big problems mean anything dramatic. Like we simply just observed and adapted and kept moving. And the thing is that especially at this level in business, but when you're making a consistent income, it's rarely one big thing. It's like the daily 1% shifts that compound over time that is so, so important. Lesson number 5 is to prioritize client results. I doubled down on supporting my clients to win. And the results? It equaled more referrals, more re-signs, more upgrades. I prioritized and poured a lot of time into my clients because I care. And because I do, it pays off in more ways than one. So we literally had people re-sign for another 12 months, and they've already been working with me for 1 to 2 years already. We had people upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2 of Scale School, and we had clients refer their peers and even their clients like into this space. And that makes me very, very happy. Now, the strategies that we used, so that was all the lessons, the strategies that supported this big cash month. Number 1, I incentivized pay in full signups. So most of the income that comes into my business is on monthly payment plans, which I love and I wouldn't change. It really helps for that stacking reoccurring revenue that I was speaking about before. But the other thing that, is great is having those in full signups every now and again. And to do that, like what I found to be really helpful was actually incentivizing it. So this gave us like that healthy cash injection and also supported clients' commitment to showing up fully because they've made the full investment. And I do see sometimes there can be, a real difference in that person's mentality when they do that. So I incentivized in full payments by giving a bonus and making it slightly more affordable, which was really, really cool. The second strategy I used is I built a system that runs without me. So like I said in my personal update, I spent 10 days in Japan skiing with my best friends. I did 0 calls, no client calls and no sales calls, and the business still brought in sales every single day. And that's because I have an amazing small team in place, and a very strong one for that matter. We had ad traffic that was coming through, so we were bringing in leads every day, and then we have automated and manual processes collectively that help that nurture that ad traffic that comes in. And then I used an offer doc that I actually created on the train in Japan going from the ski slopes to Tokyo, and used that and got immediate results then using it with the first person we sent it to and got an in full payment from a new client. And now we're continuing to use that, and it's been really awesome. And that's meant I haven't had to get on sales calls. I can just send that offer doc link to people and they can read it and then buy from there. So it's really proof that you can make money whilst living your life when the system is built right. And that's exactly what I support my clients to do. I made sales literally in my sleep this month. I made sales on the plane, while skiing down slopes, on the train, and even whilst living my best life on Disneyland and shopping in designer stores. I remember getting an in full payment when I was actually shopping with my friends in Tokyo at a designer store, right? And I'm not even into designer stuff, but it was this real luxurious moment of wow, I'm a match for high levels of wealth. I'm seeing it externally, I'm feeling it internally, and it's reflecting in my bank account as well. Now, the third thing that we did is I ran a paid workshop over the weekend, and I charged $49, which is roughly 80 something dollars in Australian dollars. And so I ran this paid workshop, and we got 37 people purchase the ticket for that, which covered the ad spend and more. So we actually profited for that. So I made thousands of dollars to deliver this workshop that I was already going to run because I was running it for my clients, and I just invited a few guest spots for a low investment. And this was really awesome because it did so many things at once. It paid for our ad spend plus a profit too. It nurtured our warmest leads who purchased the ticket, and it converted some of those attendees into high ticket clients, right? In an instant, because they received 3 hours of amazing amounts of value from me. They got so much as well, and that's just supported them to trust me and take that next step to getting the full process and support. So it leveraged time and gave us that high converting, low pressure way to bring in new people into our world. So my final thoughts here is that this wasn't just a 60K month. This was a month that felt aligned, spacious, and sustainable. It showed me that I can make money wherever and whenever. It showed me the tweaks, the effort, and the intentionality that we are putting in at the moment, and that it's paying off. So if you take anything away from this episode, let it be this: track what matters and not what doesn't. Treat your money like an actual relationship with a human being that you deeply care about. Get in the room with people who activate your next level. Don't underestimate the power of small, little seamless tweaks, and support your clients like crazy because it always comes back to you tenfold. Let me know which lesson or strategy hit home the most by sending me a DM on Instagram at Sophia Rose Bernardi. I've linked it in the show notes for you, as I would love to celebrate your breakthroughs and takeaways as well. Until next week, keep scaling simply and sustainably, and thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and want my help to scale your coaching business much faster, then I want to invite you to join Scale School, the 12-month mastermind for ambitious female coaches ready to scale their business to 30K months and beyond the simple, sustainable way. Scale School is the only way to work with me. So if you'd like to learn more and see if this mastermind is for you, simply click the link in the show notes or come DM me at Sophia Rose Bernardi on Instagram to chat. Until next time, take care.